Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to episode 2 of the My Team Career Mode. We are here with Fox Racing once again and today is the day of the Bahrain Grand Prix. But before that we've got some adminning stuff to do. Now I just want to say I am recording this before episode 1 actually went live. I think it'd be the same day. I'm recording it I think a few hours before. So if you left any good feedback on that I won't see it in time for this episode, but I should see it in time for episode 3. So yeah, so don't get mad at me in the comments for not listening to your advice, because I wouldn't have seen it by the time I was recording this. But here we are then, back at HQ after our very good first race. Well, very good for us, I feel, as we came in 15th place. No points, obviously, but we're not expecting it. Today's the day of the Bahrain Grand Prix, but as I said first, we've got some admin stuff to do. So first activities, we've got just a 2-day slot. So we can either do some reaction training for our teammate, we can do driver promotion, durability, or sponsor event. And we're going to do some driver promotion filming just to boost our acclaim, because that's very important in the early stages of the game. That's all we can do as well, it just takes one day. And then next up we're going to go over to corporate and go over to sponsorship, because we did actually unlock our first secondary sponsor slot. So we can pick our secondary sponsor. And we're going to go with this one, Alvagine. Their goal is to overtake 5 different drivers during a race. And my thinking here is we can probably do that when everyone goes in the pits. Like, remember last race we jumped from about 17th to 10th when people pitted, and I feel like just because of the pits we could be able to do this most of the weekends. We only got to take 5 people, so 5 different people, so if we get like 1 or 2 at the start and then another few in the pits, I feel like we could do this. So it's got a decent income and a decent goal bonus and a very long time as well. So I feel like we're going to go with Alvine. Alvigne, I'm gonna call it Alvine. I think it's Alvine. And I feel like they haven't got the worst logo either. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst. So let's go and add that to our car quickly. There we go. The Alvine logo has been pasted over the car in a few different places, you can see. So we're still missing a big one up by the engine. So that'll be for our third one. So there's only at Team Acclaim level 5, which we're almost like only at 2. We'll get that in a few races time. And the next thing I want to do, we have 1.6 million. I have a feeling something going to be very important throughout the season is going to be this driver perk, power mapping. We don't want any engine wear, so we're going to purchase this upgrade to really reduce our engine wear throughout the season. And also, we can boost our driver acclaim with this one. And our resource point boost. So we're going to go with these two very early on in the season, just to make sure that we can get some good boosts going through the season. We've spent a lot of money, down to 847k, but I think that's going to be very, very, very useful for us throughout the season and into the next few seasons. So that's going to be, I think they're a very good investment early on. And into the R&D, we don't have many at the minute, but we actually see that this area one here failed, which is very disappointing. It actually failed the upgrade, but I think the other 2 came in. We had one of it. No, they didn't. Actually, this one's still in development. And this one's still in development. But this one failed, which is very disappointing. But I think we actually don't really need to upgrade in these at the minute, because during the last race, I've kind of discovered that the power was what was letting us down the most, actually. So I feel like upgrading these next is going to be actually one of the most important. Because these just seem to really slow us down. We didn't have enough power in the straights. We're getting overtaken. The corners weren't too bad. I think it's the power we need to improve. So that's what we're going to try and save our R&D up for next. As you can see on the graph, we've almost got to AlphaTauri. We're way ahead of Haas, Alfa Romeo and Williams. Almost got up to AlphaTauri, but obviously that's just the car, that's just the standard. It's going to be very different in a race, actually how the race goes. And needs obviously going to need to look to upgrade going into the next few seasons. We're actually going to upgrade the personnel when we have the money. We have no end of the money now. We only have 847k. But when we have the money, personnel will be marketing going to be very important to improve. You know, obviously these are all going to be important, but we need the money first. We don't have any, but these sponsors, these new sponsors, are going to help us get that money. So I think it's going to be a bit of a short admin bit for this episode. We're going to go straight into the Bahrain Grand Prix. Hopefully we do well. We get the driver promotion and filming.
As we continue to increase our acclaim, more potential partners become willing to work with us. We can now approach an additional sponsor from the corporate tab.
I swear I've already done that. I mean, he's coming in a few... Yeah, we have already done that. He's coming in a bit late, but at least he's like helping people out if they don't know what they're doing. So let's just go to the Bahrain Grand Prix and let's try and get some cash with a good race, and let's just see how well we can do. Alright then, so I've accidentally forgotten to record practice, but practice did okay, and we're here now in Q1. Obviously trying to get into Q2. Annoyingly, I was doing practice, and halfway through I was like, I haven't started recording, have I? So, my bad, we haven't actually got any practice footage. It's just practice, it's kind of normal. I'm just thinking, Bahrain, I normally do okay around Bahrain, so we might be able to get into Q2. If we don't, obviously, I understand, because we don't have the best car, but if we do somehow get into Q2, it'll be very, very good. For the second race in a row to get into Q2 will be amazing. But obviously there's lots of long straights at Bahrain where our car isn't suited. We don't have the power. So these straights might be a bit of a problem just because the power the car has is way less than every other car. So hopefully we can still get a decent lap time, but if we don't get into Q2, I will actually not be surprised. Let's just see how good a lap we get and just hope we do well. And then we come through the final straight for our finish time at, it's been a poor lap, 1:37, and look at Norris's 1:32. You can just see how poor that lap was, but I think a lot of it had to do with just the lack of power down the straights for our car. And now Russell's put in front of us to go for our second consecutive lap, which is going to be a bit of a pain. See if we can get blitz past Russell on the straight, which I think we can. So we do have a little bit more power than the Williams, or he might be letting us pass because I think he's on his out lap, not a flyer. But we need to try and gain some damage. We're actually losing damage, which is not what we wanted. We need to get some damage somewhere because that was a really awful lap. Alright, we are like a long way off Latifi as well. Our car is either just not suited to this circuit, or I'm having a terrible day, because everyone else is at like 1:34 and we're at 1:37. We're not even close to making it even in the top 20, let alone the bloody Q2. So unless it was just a really awful lap and I can put the rabbit out the bag here, we are just not suited to the circuit, or I'm having a terrible day and we're never making it to Q2. We're probably going to have an awful race as well. So this lap has to be good, but I have a feeling it's going to be terrible again. And going into the end of the lap, we gain upwards of 1.4 seconds. In fact, it'll be 1.5 seconds, but it's still not even enough to get us off the bottom of the bloody table. Absolutely ridiculous. We're still right at the bottoms. Maybe our car just is not suited to this Bahrain circuit. Also, that was a really poor corner though. We lost a lot of time again on the straight. We've already lost. Maybe our car just isn't suited to Bahrain, but I don't know where our teammate is. He seems to have done quite well, Old Illet, but we have just done terribly around here today. There we are then, out in 22nd, last of the grid, and unfortunately our teammate Illet is just pipped to Q2 by Magnussen. Miserable for Fox Racing, really has been, especially for me. That was such an awful qualifying. Hopefully we can pull it back together, but I'm not very confident. It's going to be an awful race. I want to forget maybe on the second episode of the series, but well, what a terrible qualifying. Maybe we can turn it around, but I definitely doubt it.
We're here again then at a circuit famous for its stunning visuals and thrilling battles for glory. Who will take the spotlight in the Bahrain Grand Prix today? Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakhir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Why don't we start by talking about Valtteri Bottas? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The fence starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel, and Albon, Perez, Sainz, Stroll, and Lando Norris, Ricciardo, Ocon, Pierre Gasly, and Kvyat, Magnussen, Raikkonen, Callum Eilert, and George Russell, Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Latifi, and Morris. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So there we were, back of the grid of an awful qualifying. Let's try and pull it together in the actual Grand Prix, and we're going to go I'm going to go for a one stop because a lot of the top cars will be going on a two stop because they'll have to use their softs. So they'll be going on a two stop. So I feel like our one stop might be very, very effective here. And it should get us a lot of overtakes for that sponsor challenge. So we are going to go for the one stop and hope it pays off. Alright, now for some reason the first like 10 seconds of this race did not record, and my incredible start that got us up that high wasn't recorded. So here it is. You can see it's right at the back left. As right at the start we cut in on the Alfa Romeo. Well, actually not even, yeah, it's an Alfa Romeo. And then just look at this, we just sent it down the inside. Look at us go, and we didn't actually make any contact, I don't think. Just a perfect overtake, got to about 10th, and off we went. A perfect dive bomb. You can have a look again. It's annoying this is the only camera angle, but you can just see how many cars get stuck in that braking chain on the left, and we just send it down the right. Don't take any damage. Just a really good dive bomb at the start of the race, to be honest. And we are up into 7th place with a brilliant dive bomb to start off this race. It's like it's with Albon, but not much contact was made. And what a start that was throughout that race. So as the other cars are showing their natural paces, Perez is coming around the outside of us. Doesn't quite get the job done. He's going to get another go again, but that was a brilliant start. That was the ideal, the perfect start for us with a massive dive. Just to rescue our terrible qualifying. Giving way too much space actually. Now we're jostling for position. I'm not expecting to keep this though because he's got the soft tyres and he's a faster car, way faster car. Going on the inside, and it actually looks like he pulls out of it, I think. He does, looks to switchback manoeuvre us. And we just do him on the corners there, but Stroll will be back at us for sure. We've lost lots of time to Perez, and here comes Stroll then on the inside. Can he do it? I think he has, he's got it comfortably. Yep, a little bit of contact. And we just go very out wide, try and give Stroll the room, and now give a chance for Albon. And Norris to come past us. And Sainz. And they're just showing their pace on the straight here. Every single other car just showing their pace on the straight. We just can't compete at the pace they have. Started well. And it went downhill, actually. And now, oh, it's Magnussen. Now they're all looking for us. And now everyone's slowing up in front of us. We have to dive on the inside, and someone else is on there inside. I don't know who that is, Gasly or Kvyat, and this is mad. It's like I have to keep up with it commentating wise. I'm trying to focus on the race and commentate. It's not going very well. So this start has been mental. We obviously had the massive dive bomb. Now just overtakes going. I'm making mistakes. People coming down my left and my right and everywhere. Absolute madness. So when we finally get some R&D and stuff to upgrade, we're definitely upgrading the engine first, the power, because I can feel it. Maybe a little bit of downforce at the corners, but definitely, maybe actually a lighter car and a chassis, but definitely some engine upgrades are needed. So a few laps past, and we've actually been breaking away from the AlphaTauris, and I think, and there's a yellow flag ahead of us. Just as I was saying that, and it's Albon, I think Albon's got an engine failure. He has. Terrible news for the Red Bull, as Albon comes away with an engine failure. So that is really bad news for Red Bull and Albon, obviously, but good news for us as we gain a position up into P11. But yeah, there he is, Albon out the session with engine failure, so that's very sad news for Red Bull and Albon. But great news for us, we gain a place. And as I was saying, we're actually pulling away from AlphaTauri just by, I don't know, I guess our speed through the corners, because they're way faster in the straights. Maybe Kvyat was making a mistake and holding up Gasly, I don't know. But we're not catching up to Norris, and we're just keeping just behind him. So he's on the soft, he's trying to get past Ricciardo and stuff, and he can't manage to do it. But we're actually having a really good race in a minute. I think a lot of people like Norris are going to be on the one-stop strategy. So we could, you know, we have a chance of actually getting a really good place, because sorry, I said Norris on the one-stop. Norris on the two-stop. So because we're on the one-stop, we have a chance of actually getting a really good position, just because everyone else is going to be on that one-stop. No, everyone else is going to be on that two-stop. Not everyone else. Okay, people are going to be on the two-stop, and we're going to be on the one-stop. So we should have a whole pit stop less, which means we could, if we hold up traffic well, for some of the later parts of this race, we could have a really good chance of actually getting maybe like 1 or 2 points. We're in 11 currently. We have a chance in this race of getting some really good points. Oh, it's a terrible corner there. We've lost all the time we gained on Norris, and now Kvyat comes right behind us. That was a really awful corner. We've lost so much time. That's so frustrating. It was one mistake. And Kvyat's right on the back of us, and we've lost all the time we had to Norris. And Ocon's actually overtaken Gasly, so I don't know what's happened to Gasly. He's massively just slowed up into this recent part of the race. I don't know what happened to him, but... And Norris goes in for a very early pit stop. Obviously, he's on those soft tyres. So we've got another 3 places, and there's a lot of people actually in the pits. There's tons of people in the pit. We're all the way up to P8. And like I said with that sponsorship goal, that's where we were counting on it, is for the people that are in the pit stops. We already probably got it in that very first lap with that massive dive bomb, but that is another place where we can do it. Now, if me and Kvyat can hold up some of these faster cars, obviously they're going to have to make another stop as well. If me and Kvyat can hold up these faster cars, and we have a really good chance of getting a really good position here. Here we go then, going back onto the straight. I imagine the rest of people on soft will either pit this lap or the next lap, and here comes Verstappen and Kvyat. We managed to hold at least Verstappen off. Kvyat comes around our inside. We have DRS on him somehow. He must have just got ahead of us. Kvyat comes around us, and so does Verstappen. There's Hamilton coming out the pits, and Kvyat slows down. Leclerc there as well. Lots of people mixing here. We come out ahead of Hamilton, but not ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc does get ahead of us and get away. But we definitely need to try and hold on and keep Hamilton and Verstappen. Although here comes Hamilton now to manage to hold him off. We should try and keep these faster cars behind us for as long as possible. Does Hamilton go for the overtake? He does. And I think he's going to get it as well. Coming around the inside of us. We can give him the room. We don't want to fight with a top car. Hamilton should see it off here. He does. Hamilton sees off the overtake. And now people like Vettel and Verstappen are behind us. And that's who Kvyat is holding up. And then if they get past him, hopefully I can also hold them up as well. Verstappen looks like Kvyat, and Kvyat is doing me an absolute wonder job, to be fair, Kvyat. Because Kvyat is the one holding Verstappen and Vettel up the most. It's not really, I'm not really doing anything in a minute. It's all Kvyat. So thank you, Kvyat, for doing such an honourable service at the minute. Here comes Kvyat then. We're going to keep it around the long way of the corner. Let's let Kvyat get his name. We don't want to damage Kvyat because of what a job he's doing. We want to give him the space. We're going to take the inside of this corner. And he backs out. Now Verstappen's overtaking Kvyat because he was going for me. And Verstappen was taking. I knew that was going to happen. So I didn't really want Kvyat going for me because I knew this was going to happen. And it has. And Verstappen's overtaking Kvyat. Now Verstappen's going to definitely look for me. And he's going to get it as well on this straight. Goes on the inside. You have to give him the room. And he's going to get the overtake done. So fair play to Verstappen. He saw his chance and took it. But Kvyat didn't work with me. And now Stroll's in the pits. And now Vettel is going to come. Kvyat's flew around us, and Vettel's going to do the exact same. And all of a sudden we've been overtaken. What are people always trying to keep behind us? And now everyone's slowing up a bit. We've had to go right round the outside because of how much everyone's slowed up. We have re-overtaken Vettel and Kvyat though. Perfection. Is that what we needed there? And we've got it going around the outside. Re-overtaken Vettel and Kvyat perfectly. It's what we needed as well. Exactly what we needed to get back ahead of them around the corner. Kudos to Kvyat, he's having a really good race in a minute. And now he looks over to the guys to get on the straight. He's done about 4 times. But each time we put it back in the corner. Now Vettel come around. We can't really go on the outside of Kvyat because Vettel was there. We still somehow managed to do it. And there we go. We're back ahead of Kvyat and we have the DRS on him. So once again Kvyat gets us in the straight and we get him in the corner. It's been like that way for the last 2 times. And it's happened again, and you see that Kvyat was gaining on us, even though we had DRS and ERS and rich mix. Kvyat was still gaining us. It shows how slow this car truly is. Definitely need some upgrades in the power, but Vettel and I think one of Perez or Stroll is still behind us, and Kvyat, which is exactly what we needed from this race. We're going to look to box, look to pit in a few laps time, so it's crucial we keep these guys behind us for as long as possible, at least until then. We're looking to box this lap, which we have done, and now here comes Kvyat, but we've used that ERS well to keep ahead of him on the straight. They're taking us so many times on. And now Vettel and one of Perez or Stroll, I can't quite tell, are right behind us again. Now here comes Kvyat, looking to come on the inside. Have we got enough time? It's Perez. And Vettel and Kvyat coming around their own side. We're going to hold him off, but Vettel has got the overtaken Kvyat. Look, Kvyat looks to get him back, and he's done it. Kvyat is having an absolute man of the match performance here. Just holding off all these fast cars over and over again. Absolutely wonderful, but now Vettel does get Kvyat and I think he'll stay. But I am pitting this lap. Now Vettel comes around there inside just before we're about to pit. We're going to give him the space because we are pitting anyway. There's no point fighting him, especially when we're going to pit. We have got the TRS on him, but we don't need it. Here we are then, going into the pits. And me and Kvyat have done a wonderful job, especially Kvyat, mainly Kvyat, done a wonderful job in holding off these faster cars. And as we go into the pits, we're looking for a fast pit, because a lot of people around us haven't pit. We're pitting a lot earlier than a lot of people around us. We're looking, trying to undercut them on the fresher, hard tyres. And we're actually replacing our wing. I didn't even know we had wing damage, but apparently we did. And now look, we're down with a load of the people that we had overtaken. Stroll. Actually, we're coming in last, because a lot of people ahead of us haven't pitted. So this lap is going to need to be really good, which we don't drop off from all the people we're looking to overtake. Here we go then. How many people are going to go into that pit? I think a few, but not as many as I was kind of banging on. Yeah, actually no, there is a few, 3, but it's still going to be at the end of the next lap, I think. At the end of the next lap, can we get ahead of Kvyat? We can, so we're back ahead of Kvyat. So our tactic worked perfectly. We're still ahead of the people we were ahead of, especially Kvyat. And now we need to keep ahead. We need to keep this time difference to people ahead of us. And then when they go in for their pit stop, that's when we need to blitz part them. We need to try and keep this time as close to this time as possible. And then when they go in for their second pit stop, or some of them people on their first pit stop, that's when we need to absolutely blitz them. Here we go then. How many people are going to be pitting on this lap? I think it should be quite a lot going on this lap. Yep, there's our teammate going in. And a lot of people that were below us. So they should be pitting, and you can see them all going in now. We're going to use a lot of ERS. And Rich Mix just burned them past, and there they are in the pit. And here we go, flying past them. Can we even get this yellow? It's Ocon. We do. So our tactic has worked perfectly for a lot of people in the pit. We're back up to 11th. And a lot of the people we've gone straight past. And now we're about where we were. And all those people that are faster that are on a second pit stop, we have a chance of actually getting ahead of them and keeping ahead of them. We saw what me and Kvyat did earlier. We have a chance of doing that, and actually Ocon got out between me and Kvyat. So what is crucial for us is that we don't make any stupid mistakes, we don't lose time battling someone, we just keep where we are, and then when the higher up people go for their second pit stop, that's when we pounce, and that's when we try and stay ahead of them for the last few laps of the race. But so far, our strategy has worked absolutely perfectly, and we're in 11th place. Here we go then, another person in the pits, it's Science, we go straight past him, not even any question on the speed. We've got loads of time. And now we're up into 10th, into the point, and a lot of people above us are going to have to pit again. So we could be in for a really, really good race here, because a lot of people are going to have to pit again. Especially a lot of the fastest cars, so we could be in for a really, really good race, just because of the strategy. Not really because of the car, because of the strategy. And we get DRS on strong, we're going to look for an overtake here. We just don't have the pace in a straight line though. What are we going to try and make a dive on the inside of this corner? Yeah, we just don't have the pace, or do we? We do actually have the pace, and we've got Stroll. That's a massive surprise. I thought our car wasn't even quick enough to get it through there. We've dived on the corner. We're just ahead of Stroll, just on actual pace. I know he's on softs, and they're going to be very worn and stuff. He's going to make his pit stop soon. As you know, he's already pitted, isn't he? So he's going soft, soft, hard, or soft, soft, medium. And it just hasn't paid out, because we were overtaken him on his softs. And here comes Ocon, looking to get us both. And Ocon's going to bloody switch back, and we're going to get him back on the inside. We're having none of that, although he's going to get us from the outside. And Ocon's got both me and Stroll as we're battling for position. Ocon's got him taking us both. Fair play to Ocon. Here comes Ocon then, flying past, and there's people in the pits. I think Norris was one of them, and we've gone straight past him, a bit of a tire on the grass, so I wouldn't be paying attention. But Ocon overtakes us, and we've taken a lot of people in the pits. And a bit more contact there, we made contact with Stroll the lap before. And Kvyat, no not Kvyat, sorry, Magnussen has come. Where is Stroll gone? Is Stroll going to the pit? I have no idea what's happened to Stroll, I can't even see on the map. No idea where Stroll's gone. But now Magnussen is the 1-2 behind us, and 1 behind Kvyat. So what happened to Stroll? Did he go in the pits? I think he must have gone in the pits. He was on that set of softs, probably looking a bit worn out. So I think he must have gone in the pits, but that's another position we will gain from someone on the 2 stops, so I don't think he'll catch up to us now. He's pitted, I don't think so. That's another position gained from the 2 stops. This strategy is just massively paying out for people like me, Kvyat, I think Ocon maybe on it, I'm not sure. But you can see it's just really working out for us at the minute. We've got yellow flags, I don't know what's happened here, yellow flags! What's happened? Why have I got yellow flags? What has happened? Oh, I don't know, it's Kvyat. I don't know, it's Kvyat. Yeah, I think it's slowing down. It's Kvyat. Kvyat out of the session. That's a massive, massive blow for us. Danny Kvyat with, I think, an engine failure out of the session. That's such a shame for Kvyat, because he was having an incredible race in the AlphaTauri. He was doing so well, just holding on to people so well, and that's where the blow actually comes for us. Kvyat was holding off the faster car so well in that first stint. It's going to be a massive miss for us when all the cars go in for the pit. It's going to be such a blow not to hold them up. So real miss here for us in Danny Kvyat. But recently we've just been using Ocon as a bit of a tow. We've just been behind him using the DRS, just keeping him in a second, using that DRS just to stay with him. And he's just been pulling us along for some faster laps. We just used Kvyat, so we used Ocon to just pull us along a lot of these laps. So thank you, Ocon. But Kvyat's such a blow to lose him, because he really was brilliant at keeping those faster cars from overtaking him. So losing him has been a massive blow, but hopefully maybe me and Ocon can do it ourselves and get some points, because this so far has been a really good race. Hopefully we don't lose it. There actually are the faster cars coming in for a second pit, because we're getting a bit late now. I thought they would have already pitted, and if they have already pitted, surely we should have overtaken them. We wouldn't still be behind them, would we? Surely they didn't have that much time on us to pit and not even notice us go past them. I don't think they would have, so maybe some of them are going for a one stop, but there's some people on like soft like Hamilton. Maybe they would go just so quick on their soft stop we didn't actually notice them go for the second pit. But still, if we can just hold on to this 9th place, that would be a huge achievement. In this car, getting 9th place would be an absolute huge achievement. So hopefully we can hold out, keep using Ocon. Because we're so late in this race, unless people are doing maybe a soft, medium, soft, it doesn't look like anyone's actually going to come in for a second pit stop that we were actually able to catch up to. I assume some people must have done it, like, there's no way that Hamilton and Bottas could have gone soft just for the race. Well, they can't do that, that's against regulations. So they must have pitted somewhere. Maybe they were just so quick. We just didn't catch up to them when they went for that second pit stop. But, saying that, if we can just hold on to this 9th, maybe even 10th, because Sainz is behind us and he's catching up, I think. If we just hold on to 9th or 10th, that'd be incredible. Get our first points finish on the board. It would be truly incredible. And we've got to give a massive thanks to Ocon and Kvyat. Kvyat for holding off all those faster cars earlier, and Ocon has now just been carrying me around with his DRS for about the last 5 or 6 laps. So huge thank you to Ocon I'm just basically his trailer and he's just pulling me with his DRS. So massive thanks for that, Ocon. And obviously Kvyat holding off those fast cars for so long earlier. It's a massive thanks to those two. If we do keep the points here, if we do keep the points. But to switch back on Ocon, a bit of contact made between me and the Frenchman. I don't know why I went for the overtake, the opportunity just came up there. I wasn't planning to overtake Ocon. He's been so good just dragging me around like a trailer. I wasn't planning to overtake him. But the opportunity on the inside was there, we went for it. Bit of contact, the Ocon gets ahead of us, and he's also braked ahead of us. We have just kept in that distance for DRS, and we'll get DRS getting back onto the straight. So not too much damage is done. And no damage is done, actually. But we almost had a bit of an overtake on Ocon, which we might want to do towards maybe on the final few laps, maybe we would go for an overtake. But at the minute, I'm happy just to keep letting Ocon just drag me around like an awesome carriage. So just a few laps left now. We just haven't had the pace to overtake Ocon in the straights. As you can see here, we just don't have the pace to overtake him in the straights. But in the corners where we're making up all the time, I don't think we're going to be able to overtake Ocon in this race. But he has done a massive job for me, just dragging me around with his DRS. So if we do manage to keep this 9th, or I think we'll be able to keep 9th, I think, because Sainz is about 10 seconds behind, so I think we'll be able to keep 9th. If we do, it's a massive thanks to Ocon and also to Kvyat, like I've said before, because they've done a massive job for me in this race. I couldn't have done it without them for sure. So hopefully we can just see it out to the end of the race now. I'll join you on the last lap, unless anything happens. Here we go then, on to the last lap of the race, and what a race it has been. As long as we don't mess up, we have got a first ever points finish. P9, our first ever points finish in just our second race. Incredible. I thought it would take me so much longer to get a points finish, so much longer I thought it would take me. It's been absolutely incredible. To think we had that awful qualifying, we qualified 20 seconds on the grid, so 20 seconds on the grid. And in all honesty, all I can dedicate it down to has just been the strategy. The strategy has been on point, but also Ocon and Kvyat There's no chance we would have got this without those two. Those two were sensational for me this race. Obviously, Kvyat at the start were just holding up those faster cars so they couldn't get to me, just holding them up and holding them up. And it's such a shame that he had that engine failure, because he deserved, I think he would be 10th still behind me, and he honestly deserved it. He absolutely deserved the points finish. So so unlucky for Kvyat. And obviously then Ocon, throughout the last 10 laps, and then Bottas crossed the line in first place, but I think it's the second race in a row. I think he won the last one. So he won both races in a row now. We can go on to Richmond for the rest of this race, but yeah, Ocon throughout the last 10 laps would just drag me around like a horse and catch with his DRS. And we could mount an overtake, but I'm not sure if it would be right, you know what I mean? I don't think it'd be right to overtake Ocon. He's dragged us here. He doesn't deserve to be, you know, his place stolen from him right to death. So we are just gonna eat it behind Ocon, just let him take the win, because I don't think it'd be right to overtake him. He's the one that's dragged me. I think without him, we'd have been overtaken by Sainz, by Norris, because without the DRS, we would have been overtaken. We never would have got points finished. So huge thanks to Ocon and Kvyat for this. But it's in our second ever race, our first ever points finish. Fox Racing and Ramos have a points finish. 9th here at the Bahrain Grand Prix, and we get driver of the day. Obviously, we started last in the grid, and what a race it has been. A sensational race from last in the grid to 9th, and a points finish. Unbelievable.
Champions drive to take the win. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. Let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to give it to Morris. They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
So there we have it. Fox Racing and myself's first ever points in just our second ever race at the Bahrain Grand Prix, and you can see why. Carlos Sainz, Norris and Stroll all on the 2-stop, and we managed to finish ahead of all of them just by that strategy, just kind of with the 1-stop. You can see Ricciardo, Ocon and myself, and even our teammate Callum Ilott had a really good race. So fair play to Callum Ilott. He had a brilliant race. He just misses out on a point. He could have got 10th. He's a little bit faster. Maybe got ahead of Sainz and Norris, but he did manage to get ahead of Stroll. So you can see that me, Ocon and Ricciardo managed to jump Sainz, Norris and Stroll because of this strategy. And it's got us our first ever points. Obviously massively helped out by Albon DNFing, because he would have been ahead of us, and then Kvyat may have challenged us near the end because he was such a good part in that race. So massive achievement for us that sees Mercedes 1 and 2 again. I think they're 1 and 2 in the first race. Verstappen takes 3rd, Leclerc 4th, Vettel 5th, Perez 6th, then Ricciardo, Ocon and me just jumping a load of cars. Sainz gets 10th. Norris, Ilott, our teammate, did really well. He's actually quite unlucky to not end up with a point. And Stroll, the last of the 2 stops, and then Magnussen, Raikkonen, Grosjean, Gasly, Russell, Giovinazzi, Latifi, and then Kvyat and Albon DNF. So you can see the 2-stop worked for most of the top drivers, but it was those lower ones that we were trying to beat, and that's who we did, was Sainz, Norris and Stroll. So it really worked out for us. And the 2 Renaults and then us on 2 points. Incredible. Really good from us. And our teammate is only 2 positions behind us in 15th, Callum Ilott, who's done really well. And in the constructors, we make our way up to 7th now, as we leapfrog AlphaTauri and Haas with those 2 points. And Mercedes are well top with Red Bull, then McLaren, then Ferrari joint with McLaren, then Racing Point and Renault, and then us. So a brilliant race for us because of that strategy. But unfortunate for Kvyat, who helped us so much, and so did Ocon, obviously. Without Ocon and Kvyat, we never would have done that. So massive thank you, and that is an incredible second race. It will all go down here from here, I'm sure. It'll all go downhill from here, I'm sure. But yeah, if you did come to enjoy, then please do subscribe, leave a like and a comment saying what you want to see me do in the series, because I'm open for all your suggestions. So if you do think something that I haven't thought of, then leave it down below. But first, you do have an interview.
You made it look easy. You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Now, I really want to get our power up, and even though it was nothing to do with the power, actually no, we need to actually compliment what it was, and it was because it was because of the corners. So we're going to compliment the aero.
You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled.
Here we're just going to compliment. I'm going to compliment the team. I couldn't do this without a great team behind me.
It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it?
I'm not saying that. No one wants to be the person that backs down. These things happens.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. What a race for us. So like I was saying, if you have any suggestions, make sure to read them down below, because I read every single comment, because I don't get many. So if you have some suggestions, then please leave it down below. So unless something else happens, which is not, I'm going to let the acclaim move up to level 2. And we do get our sponsor bonus, which is very key. We overtook 5 drivers. We actually overtook 18. So almost every car on the grid, there was just 4 we didn't overtake. So that's why I took that sponsor, because of I knew we'd overtake them in the pit stop, and obviously that dive at the start also helped. So that was why I did that. We've got a bit of money to spend in the start of next episode as well. We have 1.38 million to spend at the start of next episode. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya.